My local fly shop teaches fly tying on Saturdays in the winter. It's a fun affair because we have a neighbor that cooks awesome food, there's people coming and going, and there's usually beer. If your fly shop doesn't do it this way, they're doing it wrong.
Good morning.
Good morning. What have we got today?
Rice noodles, chicken, Asian little thing.
Oh man, you are just the best. Absolutely. Woohoo!
Hey guys, John from the Rock Creek Mercantile here for another round table. We all survived the negative 25-degree weather, just barely. My pipe's frozen here, so that was a fun week trying to get that all fixed. But you know what? We're warm, water's flowing, and we're ready to tie. So what we're going to do today is a spruce moth pattern. This is one that my grandfather actually used to tie quite a bit in here. He loved doing like big, fuzzy looking caddis in the same colors as the spruce moth. The spruce moth is not an aquatic insect, it's a terrestrial like an ant or a beetle, but they just hatch by the thousands in the month of July and fish just go crazy for them. So we're gonna practice doing that guy today. The ingredients for that can vary. Spruce moths can be anywhere from size 12 or 10 to 14. So we're gonna go in the middle and do a size 12 dry fly hook, which I already have here in the vise. Other ingredients, usually some sort of kind of cream or white colored dubbing. Like we're gonna use rabbit fur, light Cahill color. That's pretty good for the moth body. We're gonna use a fine white saddle hackle to kind of create a little fuzziness on that body as well and add a little extra white to it. And then for the wing, the spruce moth wing is usually kind of a mottled sort of tan white color. So this little bit of deer hair should work really nicely for it. And yeah, let's get started. We're gonna wrap, oh, and white thread is usually pretty good. You could do tan too, but I like white for this pattern. So let's build just a little thread base, leave a little bit of room in the front. You want a little bit of that hook exposed right by the eye, and then work your way to the back. Usually, I always like to stop straight up from the barb of the hook. And then you might have a little extra there, so just clip that.
So that hangs right there, and there's the barb of the hook.
Now the nice thing about this pattern is there's no tail. So we can just pretty much start on the body and the wing. So what I want you guys to do is take your feather, wherever mine went. Now, with this feather, see how it kind of tapers really big and then it gets a little smaller like that. You don't want too much of this big stuff here. So about, I'd say, a third of the way up the feather, just kind of strip some of those fibers off that center quill there. Just so you have something like that. So we're gonna tie all this down onto the hook, and this is what we're gonna use for our wraps. And so just tie it down right where your thread ended on the back of the hook, like so. And then work up the body just to get that feather kind of tied down nice and tight. Stop a little bit short of the eye. Then you can clip that stuff off, that excess. And then work your way back again. Right to where you first started. So you should have something kind of looks like that.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're gonna take our doving and we're going to twist it onto our thread. Now you want to use something like dubbing wax. I've used glue sticks. As long as it just kind of has a little bit of a sticky texture to it, this should be able to wrap on there nice and easy. So just get all sides of that thread, pass that down. And then what I've learned over the years with dubbing is less is more. It's easier to add more on. Did I just say moron? It's easier to add on more dubbing as opposed to having too much and being too bulky. So always err on the side of less. And then you just kind of twist it on right where you put on your dubbing wax. Just use both thumbs and fingers just to kind of tighten it up on there. So it should have a very uniform look to it. If it doesn't, you can kind of slide it up and down to adjust the thickness or the thinness, but it should be about a couple inches, maybe a little less, of pretty uniform dubbing on that thread. So like that. Okay. And so once you have that on, just start building your body. Work your way towards the front. Don't go all the way up to the eye though. Stop a little bit short of it. Needs another log? I'll let you do the honors. See, I came up a little short on this, so now I'm just gonna add just a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take off just a little bit because I put too much on.
It's the Bob Ross equivalent of making happy little trees.
Or not leaving any in the front.
You can go another route, but you want to make sure that you leave enough room to
Do it staying.
So now I got too much, so I'll just pull that off.
No, you don't want to go back. No, you were good.
Now that there is a fire.
That's why I need another log.
Come on, baby, light my fire. Okay, so now we're gonna make this buggy looking body even buggier by using our feather and creating some wraps. Just like you did with the thread, basically. Just work your way forward and this will start to flare out. You'll see how it kind of gets a little hairier looking. Sometimes you might need hackle pliers, especially if you kind of get to the end and your grip is slipping.
So do we go back or just one time from the back to the front?
I usually just do one time. I mean, if you want extra for floatability and you have enough feather left, you can go back and do a few wraps. But I find that this, with especially with the hair, the deer or elk hair, it's plenty floatable.
But you'll be hired if I do.
Does the hair keep it riding higher on the water?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're creating lots of little spaces of air in here that are just going to get caught when it's sitting on the top.
Okay.
So it's just extra floatability. And very buggy looking. And then tie that feather down and clip it all off. So you should have something that looks kind of like that when you're done. Okay. So once we're all there, I'm gonna pass around this deer hair. We're gonna clip. It's always kind of a question of how much you clip. Before I even pull the hair off, I always like to just kind of hold it on the patch and just see what it's gonna look like. Like that's probably gonna be a little too thin, so I'm gonna do just a little bit more. Let's see. Yeah, right there. So clip it at the base and pass it around. So try to get probably about that much deer hair. It varies. I mean, you can have low riding dry flies with less hair, or you can have really bushy ones that sit high on the water. You're gonna put, the coarse ends are gonna be sticking up the top. Fine ends down. Yep. And just kind of put them down in there. Down in there. And then holding the bottom part of it, we're just going to tap a few times. And then you hold it parallel. It should theoretically come out nice and even like that. I say theoretically because sometimes it just comes out in a huge jumble. Yep. All right. So now we're gonna make the wing of the moth. So you're gonna kind of get it all pinched between your thumb and index finger. I need to restack. Mine's jarbled again.
So like that.
Yep, that's perfect. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Hands over. Correct. Yeah.
Lovely. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna hold the fine ends on top of the fly. Usually you want it going just past the bend of the hook, not much farther than that. And hold all of it over the very top of the hook. So you should have
So the good
that
ends
kind of
go
grip.
to the back.
Yes. Yep, the fancy ends are going to be pointing back behind the fly.
So like
Yeah.
that.
Yes. And then switch your grip. Once you have it positioned the way you want it, switch your grip so your left hand is going to grab both the hair and the hook, keep it all pinched together, and then using your free right hand, do a couple of very loose wraps just to get that hair to bundle together here. And then once you've done your 2 loose wraps, you can give it a very gentle tug. If your thread breaks, don't freak out. You can always tie it right back on, but it should be strong enough that it shouldn't do that. And then once you have that, you can let go and kind of see
So like that.
what your bug looks like. Okay, so once you have this, I mean, you could tie it off right here, but just for added security, I like to take my fingers and pull up a little bit of that coarse stuff, do 1 wrap, pull up a little bit more of it, and do another wrap, and keep doing that until you're out of hair, and you should be right up on the eye of the hook. And so that's just gonna help secure all that hair down so it doesn't spin on your hook when it's all done. And so once you've got that and you've wrapped through all that coarse hair, you can get a grip on this, just hold it all, pinch it all, and then just 1 quick snip. And then a couple other wraps just to finish it off. And then you can, from here, either whip finish it or do a half or whole hitch. Boom, boom. Now what I like to do at the end here is I will clip those hairs underneath right in line with the hook barb. Just so it's not too long underneath the fly.
Because the fly will tip to its side.
Exactly. So
So
just
like that.
give it a little haircut there. Let's see. So once you're done with your fly, kind of take it off the vise, eyeball it a little bit. If there's something kind of funky still, you can just take your scissors and clip it. But the cool thing about moths is they're just hairy little guys anyways, so you know, if that hair's just it's fine. Fish like it. And there we have it.
Awesome.